a partner if they've had sex before. That is not good enough information. You have got to know whether on any occasion that person has ever had genital contact with anyone else besides you. If they have, you're at risk and you need to get tested. Is that clear? Anybody confused? Because I don't want you confused about that. Then there's HIV. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this virus. I'm going to remind you this. HIV is a virus that causes AIDS. It's deadly. You don't want it. This is an equal opportunity virus hurting the guys as much as it is the girls. In light of that, what have you been told to do to make sure you don't get this particular disease that will kill you? If I said safe sex to you, what would some of you say? Condoms. Hey, sure, Pam. I don't have to worry about disease. I can sleep with 18 people. I got a piece of latex. Safe. Unbelievable. Students, the only safe sex is a safe partner. Someone who has never had sex. Or if they have, hear me very carefully, it has been at least 3 years from the last time they had sex of complete abstinence. Please have them tested with their blood, viral testing, to make sure, in fact, that they are not carrying a disease. That is the only way you will ever know that you won't get a disease. And saying no to sex won't hurt you. Once you've said yes, you've lost all guarantees. I was speaking in a state in the Midwest, got a call middle of the week from a superintendent in Western New York. He said, Pam, we've got a tragedy. We need you to get to our school this month. I said, I'm booked through the end of this year and next. I will put you on a waiting list. I get cancellations. You're at the top of my list. Hung up, thought I'd taken care of that. 2 hours later, the middle school principal called. He said, Pam, I know you've already told my superintendent that you won't come to our school, but our school's a morgue. I can't be on a waiting list. I can't wait till next spring. Please rearrange your schedule. 3 weeks later, I flew to Jamestown, New York. 3 weeks before I got there, 9 7th and 8th grade girls tested positive for HIV. They were all infected by the same young man, a 19-year-old by the name of Newshawn Williams. When they found out 9 of their 7th and 8th graders were positive, they tested 70 students in that district who had either had sex with that guy or with one of those 9 girls. By the time I got there, they tested 500 teens in the county. It will be years before we know who's dying and who's not. I got done speaking at the middle school, and all the other 7th and 8th graders went back to class, and one little 8th grade girl, blonde, blue-eyed little girl, I will never forget her, waited till everybody else had left so she could talk to me alone. Just turning 14, just found out she was HIV positive. This 8th grader looked at me that morning, and she said, Pam, how could he do that to me? He loved me. He loved her, you think? That's love now? Sex is love, and love is sex. If you love me, you will prove it. That's love now? Please tell me we haven't fallen that far. Sex isn't love, and love isn't sex. Let me tell you something about this little 8th grader, though, because she's not that different from some of you. She so desperately wanted somebody to love her. Anybody. Someone to say, you're pretty, you matter, I like you. She was willing to put her life on the line to get love. And she actually believed that if she gave sex to this guy, she'd get loved. What she got was used. It's not the same thing. What if we didn't have AIDS? What if we didn't have genital warts and herpes and chlamydia and syphilis and gonorrhea? What if I could give you a super condom? I mean, I can't. But what if we could? Use it, sleep with 20 people, it won't matter. Are there other reasons besides disease that we might want to wait? I think so. See, I'm stupid enough to think that sex is more than a biological act to meet a biological need, more than a hormone you can't control, an itch you've got to scratch. It involves more than just your physical body. It involves everything you are. God called it a one-flesh experience, the taking of 2 unique individuals and bonding them for life. 1 Corinthians 6:18, these are God's words and not mine. Please hear them. Flee sexual immorality. Run in the other direction. All other sins you could commit. That is astounding, students. Murder, lying, cheating, stealing, any other sin you could commit is outside your body, but he or she who sins sexually sins against your own body. Basically damages everything you are. That's why this is so devastating. I was on a plane heading to Cincinnati. This is typical airplane conversation. This nicely dressed businessman looks over at me, sits down, and goes, oh, going to Cincinnati, what do you do? I'm a speaker. Cool, who do you speak to? Junior high, high school, college kids? Oh, cool, what do you speak about? Sex. He'll either go back to his reading material real fast or decide to talk to you. This guy thought that was interesting, so he said, what do you tell teens about sex today? So we tell them to wait. Not have sex until they're married. One partner for life. By now, the entire plane is listening, and this guy looks over at me and goes, what? Are you crazy? They're all doing it. They're out of control. They're animals. I mean, what is the success rate of telling teens not to have sex? Before I tell you what I said to this lovely gentleman on an airplane, can I apologize to you? Please allow me to sincerely apologize to you for any adult who would walk into your life and tell you you can't control this. That it's hormones. You're no better than the family pet. As you're going to turn 14 or 15 and the hormones are going to kick in and you're going to be walking school halls going, it's not going to matter. It's hormones. They can't possibly control it. You're better than that. You can say yes and you can say no. It's a choice. You choose. This astounds me. Girls especially are bad at this. They'll come up to me and they'll go, well, Pam, I was going to wait and I really didn't mean to have sex with those 8 guys, but it just happened. My favorite one is this one. It was an accident. What, were you walking to get your mail naked and some guy was jogging by, he was naked? That would be an accident. This is not an accident. This did not just happen. You chose. You can say yes and you can say no, okay? First thing I said to this guy, back to the plane, first thing I said to this guy was this, buddy, everybody's not doing it. That's a lie. Thousands of students all over the nation are choosing to say no to sex until marriage. I stood in the Dome in Atlanta with 40,000 students and over 1 million commitment cards signed by teens across this nation saying, believing that true love waits. I make a commitment to God, myself, my family, those I date, my future spouse, and my future children to remain sexually pure from this day on until I enter a sacramental marriage relationship. We stacked those cards from the floor of the Dome through the roof. Twice. There are thousands of teens who aren't having sex. How unfair that we would say everybody's doing it. Not true. Second thing I said to this businessman on the plane was this. Buddy, I don't care how old you are or how old I am. Your yes to sex and mine doesn't mean a darn thing if we don't know how to say no. Anybody can say yes. It takes no talent or ability. It takes character, integrity, and self-respect to say no. Students, I sat where you're sitting. I went to parochial school. I had parents who loved me a lot, parents who told me what God said about sex. They said, Pam, God says don't have sex, don't do it. School said that too. This was the extent of my sex education. God said don't do it, end of discussion. And actually, that should be enough. Should be enough. You know, in all my discussions and all my thoughts about sex outside of marriage, before I got married, I thought this, and I missed a piece, and I want to give this piece to you. See, I thought that I'd have to say no to sex until I was married. It would be so hard, take 185,000 cold showers, beat people up with sticks, and then someday I would get married, and I would never struggle with sexual temptation again. It would be over. See, because married people don't struggle. Once you put this wedding ring on, there is no temptation. Marriage is happily ever after, excitement, heart-pounding romance, all the time. There's never a moment that I look over at my husband and go, I married that? and I am just so beautiful and gorgeous. There will never be a woman more attractive than me. Not for 50 years, ever. Really? You think so? Come on. Marriage is work. Marriage is tough. Marriage requires sacrifice and it requires integrity. What in the world, adults? What in the world made us think in the 70s and 80s that we could sleep with whoever we wanted? No big deal. Sex was free. Sleep around. And then someday we'd put a white dress on, a white tux on, and the magic discipline fairy would sprinkle dust on us. And now we would be able to control what we never controlled back there. Did it work? No. And many of you sitting in this room have experienced the pain of infidelity and adultery. You've watched families be ripped apart because someone didn't have control. I was speaking at a parochial school, and a senior waited till no one saw him speaking to the sex speaker after school when he was pretty sure it was safe. He said, Pam, I want to talk to you. You scared me to death today. So what's the deal? He said, first of all, I want you to know I'm a senior. I've been dating this girl for 2 years. I love her. She's awesome, perfect, beautiful. I'm going to marry her. She's everything I ever wanted. One of the reasons he told me he was going to marry her, she wouldn't sleep with him. She had integrity. That was important to him and the girl he married. I said, you said I scared you, buddy. What's the deal? He said, well, just before school started this fall, my buddy and I were over on this college campus. We were there for college days. We were hanging out in the dorms that weekend, and this college freshman, she threw herself at me. What was I supposed to do? I regretted it. I wish I hadn't done it, swept her under the carpet until you came to my school. He said, Pam, I'm going to get tested. I'll do it this week, I promise. But I'm afraid you're going to tell me something else. I'm afraid you're going to tell me I need to tell my girlfriend what I did. Oh, yeah, you will. Yeah, but she threw herself at me. I have moms tell me, moms are good at this, you were really hard on the boys. You were just so hard on those boys, Pam. I mean, have you seen girls lately? Have you been on a high school campus lately? Yeah. Have you seen the way these girls dress? Just take me now. What is my little boy supposed to do? Fleeing might be an option. I don't know. Running in the other direction, I'm thinking. It's tough. I don't know what you should do. I looked at this guy, this senior in high school, and I said, buddy, you want to go